Hello everyone, welcome back to the Java tutorial series. In this video, we will learn about the throw keyword in Java. So by the end of this video, you will understand what the throw keyword is, why we use throw, how to throw built-in exceptions, and how program execution behaves after using throw, and we'll see some best practices for using throw. So what is a throw keyword? Okay, so throwing exception explicitly. Okay, we will be throwing exception by ourselves. So it is used to explicitly throw an exception. Okay, so we use throw keyword to throw an exception using throw keyword for explicitly throw, and transfers control to the nearest matching catch block. Okay, so whenever we execute the throw statement, it will try to find matching catch block. Okay, and it can throw both type of exception. It can be either built-in or custom exception. Built-in means what? We don't need to create exception, that is already provided by the Java. Whereas in custom exception, based on our requirement, based on our need, we can create our own custom exception class, and we can use that particular exception class using throw keyword. Okay, how to create a custom exception class, I will tell you in the later videos. But for now, we will understand we use throw keyword to throw an built-in exception, or it can be custom exception also. Okay, so exception occurs automatically during program execution, such as dividing by 0. But sometimes we want to operate, okay, we want to generate an exception ourselves based on certain conditions. So let's say we are writing some business logic inside try block. Okay, inside try block we are writing some business logic, and in some line on business failure, on any business failure, I want to throw an exception. So I will use keyword throw new and the exception class name. Okay, so in this line the exception will be thrown and it will try to find matching catch block, and that matching catch block will get executed. Okay, so on failure of any business logic inside try block, if we want to throw any exception based on our need, we will use the throw keyword. Okay, so why do we use throw? What is the use of throw? So the throw keyword is useful when you want to stop execution. Okay, when do we use this throw? When we want to stop execution. And why we are stopping execution? Because condition is invalid. Invalid conditions occur. Okay, for example, let's say inside try block there is some user and he's giving some invalid age. Let's say user is asked to give input of age, but he is giving age as -10, like that, some invalid input. So in that particular case we want to throw an exception. Okay, so we can throw an exception with some meaningful name, invalid age, like that. Okay, so based on business requirement, if anything is failing, we will throw an exception inside try block, and that will be handled to the nearest catch block. Why I am saying nearest? Because it will try to find out the matching catch block. Okay, and that's how we will use the throw. So here it is written enforce business rules. Okay, enforce business rule means if it is violating any business rule, then we'll use throw. Input should be valid, And whenever we are throwing the exception, it should generate some meaningful exception like invalid age. Okay. So let's see the syntax, how we can throw the exception. Okay. So the syntax is simple. Use the throw keyword. Okay. Here syntax, use the throw keyword and followed by new keyword and the exception class name. Okay. So what type of instance, what type of object, which exception class object you want to throw. So that particular exception class. Okay. It can be arithmetic exception, it can be array index or out of bound exception, it can be null pointer exception, whatever it is based on our requirement. And we should give some meaningful message based on business requirement. Okay. So here are some examples. Okay, like throw new arithmetic exception, cannot divide by 0. So this is a meaningful name. Okay. And by class name we can see what we are throwing, which exception we are throwing. And this is like throw new illegal argument exception, age cannot be negative. Okay, if we are giving input age as negative, then we want to throw illegal argument exception. Okay, so you can provide a custom message. Okay, here we are providing whatever message. Okay, so this is like custom message. So you can provide custom message that explains the reason for which the exception is occurring. Okay. So, okay, let's go to IntelliJ and see some examples so that we have better clarity. So what we are learning, we are learning exceptions, and in exception we are learning throw keyword. Now I will show you first normal how the program will execute. Okay, int age equal to -5, and I'm adding one condition. Let's say if age less than 0, then throw new illegal argument exception, and inside this I will write age cannot be negative. Okay, so if age is less than 0, then I am simply throwing an exception, and after that I will write one line. If age is greater than 0, that means it will not go inside this condition, right? So normal execution, for normal flow I will write here valid age. Okay, that's it. So now what will happen? We have initialized age equal to -5. So it will go inside this condition since this condition is true. So this line of code will execute line number 14. So what it will do, it will throw an exception. Okay, so let's see what is happening. See, line number 14, at the end of each block, program terminated. Why? Because an exception is being thrown. It is not printing valid age. That means execution is stopping at line number 14. It is not executing remaining lines of code. Why? Because we are throwing an exception, but we are not handling the exception. Who will handle this exception? If we don't handle the exception, program will terminate in that line itself. Okay. So here the condition checks whether the age is negative, and since it is less than 0, the throw statement creates and throws an illegal argument exception, and the program terminates because the exception is not handled. Not handled means we have not provided catch block. Okay. Now, let's say I want to handle this exception. What I will do, I will add try and catch block. So I will add these things inside try block, and in the catch block, okay, I will handle illegal argument exception. I will simply print whatever it is, you don't get message, okay, and remaining lines of code will execute. So I will add one more line, program ends here, okay. So now since I have provided try catch block, so any exception being thrown in the try block will be handled in the catch block, in the matching catch block, okay, and the remaining lines of code will execute. So what will be the output? So here we are throwing an exception. So it will Java will try to find out the matching exception class. So okay, this is the matching catch block. So it will execute this line of code and then program ends here. Let's verify. See, age cannot be negative. It is printing age cannot be negative. Why? Because here I have printed e.get message. So exception message, what I am printing, whatever we have provided here. So in line number 19, it is printing age cannot be negative, and after execution of catch block, it is executing remaining lines of code. That is program ends here. So this is the advantage of handling the exception. And if we don't handle, in the previous example, we didn't handle the exception, so program was terminating in this line itself. Now since we have provided exception handling, the flow is going normal. So this time the exception is thrown inside try block and handled by the matching catch block. As a result, the program continues executing and program ends here, okay. So let's see the program execution flow. What is happening? Execution statements in the try block. So whatever statements we have written in the try block, those statements will get executed. And inside try block, we have written one throw block, we have one throw statement. It will create an exception class object, exception class instance, and that particular instance it will throw. Those particular exception it will throw. Then program execution stops immediately at the throw statement. Okay, if we have not provided catch block, we are not handling exception, then program execution stops immediately at the throw statement. Okay, and suppose if we have provided the catch block, then what it will do? Java searches for the nearest matching catch block. Okay, why we are saying nearest means there is one more concept of throws. So caller will be transferred to the matching method call. I will explain you these throws later, but for now understand Java will search the matching catch block, okay, and matching catch block will get executed and program continues after the try catch block. So whatever lines of code we have written after try and catch block, those lines will get executed since we have provided the exception handling using catch block. So you might be thinking, okay, we are throwing an exception, but can we write code after throw? So let's go to IntelliJ. What I'm saying is, can we write code after throwing a statement? So for example, I am throwing an exception based on condition. So there is a chance that condition will fail and this statement will execute. But this time, let's say we are not providing any condition. We are not providing any condition. Now, in this case, so we are always throwing this exception. We are always throwing an exception. So, is there any chance of execution of the later statements inside try block? So after throw, whatever lines of code we have written, those lines will not get executed because in this statement itself, it will go to the matching catch block and it will execute remaining lines of code. So this is unreachable code. Whatever lines of code we write after throw, that will be unreachable. That's why it is throwing compilation error. See, unreachable statement. So if you are writing any lines of code after throw and those lines will be unreachable statement and it will throw compilation error. As we can see, this is compilation error. During compile time only we are able to see unreachable statement. So any statement written under an unconditional throw statement is unreachable because the throw statement immediately transfers control to the matching catch block. Therefore, the compiler is reporting an unreachable statement, compilation error. Okay. So let's see some best practices we should follow. So throw specific exceptions. Okay. Throw specific exception. So what does it mean? Throw new and exception class name. That should be specific class name. It can be null pointer exception, it can be arithmetic exception, it can be array index out of bound exception. So we should use specific exception class based on the business failure. Provide meaningful exception messages. So after writing exception class name, we need to provide message name. Okay, why we are getting this exception? What is the reason behind this exception? So those message should be meaningful. Okay, and use illegal argument exception for invalid method arguments. Okay, so method arguments means whatever value we need to provide. If we are getting an illegal, that is, let's say if we want argument as positive but we user is passing as negative, so in that case we'll throw illegal argument exception. Okay, and don't use exceptions for normal program flow. Okay, so these are the points we need to keep in mind while writing the code. So these are the best practices. Okay, so always throw the most appropriate exception type and include a meaningful message. Exceptions should represent exceptional situations. Okay, not be used as a substitute for normal program logic. Okay, so last point is saying you only use exception if you're really getting exception. That means if any business is failing or something is not valid, in those conditions only use exceptions. Don't use exception for normal. If it is working normal, don't use any exception. Okay, only for exception use exceptions. Okay, it is meaningful. Okay, so let's quickly summarize what we have learned so far. So throw explicitly creates and throws an exception. So Java is not automatically throwing an exception this time. This time we want, based on our business logic failure, we want to throw an exception at particular line. Okay, that this business is not failing, this is invalid scenario, I want to throw an exception at particular this line. So for that particular usage, we are using throw keyword in Java, and explicitly we are throwing an exception. So what will happen? Execution stops immediately after the throw statement if we are not handling exception. And if we are handling exception, then control move to the nearest matching catch block. And We can throw built-in as well as custom exception. Built-in means provided by Java. Custom means we can create our own custom exception. We will see in later videos how to create custom exception. So using throw keyword, we can throw built-in as well as custom exception. And we should provide meaningful exception messages. Okay, for it will improve debugging. And debugging means line by line check. Okay. So that's all for this video. I hope this tutorial helped you understand throw keyword in Java. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.